Last week, Minister, the victims of the mother and baby home scandal were insulted, and the insult centred on the refusal of the government to value the direct testimony of the victims of the mother and baby scandal, and instead to follow an official narrative from institutions. This week, we have the same pattern of insulting the student nurses and midwives, refusing to listen to their direct testimony, and instead listening to the official and, quite honestly, dishonest narrative that you're getting from the health authorities about what they do. And that's what this comes down to. Hundreds of student nurses had their testimonies read out, circulated all over social media, attended meetings where they spelt out in detail when People Before Profit brought our motion calling for the payment of student nurses and midwives last year. You have simply dismissed that testimony, and that testimony continues to come in, where they explained in graphic and sometimes shocking detail the work they do, the risks they take, the absolutely pivotal role they play, not just during the COVID crisis, but that they have always played in making up for chronic staff shortages and working during their placements. And instead of acknowledging and respecting that testimony, the government insults them by suggesting that they are protecting their education. And to be honest, I nearly choked when I heard you say that, use that phrase again. Protecting their education, the full student experience. I mean, how can you honestly trot out those phrases, Minister? The full student experience for student nurses and midwives is paying fees of 3,000 or 7,000 in some cases euros for the privilege of working on the front line of our health services, and even more so in the dire situation of the pandemic, playing an absolutely critical role in helping us to combat the virus. And you then offer them, because you are forced, a miserable $2.50 an hour for the work they do in the same week that you bump up the salary of the General Secretary of the Department of Health from 210,000 to 290,000 euro. It is shameful. It is an insult at so many different levels. It is an insult to women. I don't believe it's a coincidence. This is a mostly female profession. It is an insult to students to treat them in this way. It is an insult to young people, as Deputy Cairns said, who have told us 70% of them are seriously considering, and many will leave after their training because they are treated so badly. Treated so badly as students, and then they'll be treated badly when they actually come to work in the health service. Made to work 3 hours, the nurses, the Croke Park hours, when they are fighting to protect all our lives on the front line. And you offer them an allowance that will not even pay their bus fare or their parking in most cases. It is an absolute insult. And I have to say I disagree with Deputy Cullinane when he says he doesn't want to fundamentally change the structure of nurse training. I think we do need to stop the drain of talented nurses and midwives out of this country that is happening. In Britain, they were forced to acknowledge that they needed to pay student nurses 10,000 sterling a year because of the drain of nurses out of the NHS and out of Britain. We should be doing that. And when you say you can't do that and have a degree, as I pointed out to you last week, construction engineers get paid €12 an hour for doing their degree. Student paramedics get paid, in some cases, €28,000 a year for doing their degree. So it can be done, and it should be done. And, by the way, you should also abolish the fees, not just for the student nurses and midwives, but for all students should have their fees abolished as well.